Yo, what's up, people? Welcome to another episode of Football with Moj. We are back. I am back, and I am so excited to be back, guys. I hope you guys are as much excited as I am to be talking to you. I thought, what is the thing I can do that I'm quite good at? That I know that my people will love to watch. And I thought about it, and the answer was it is Premier League match day predictions. Right now, we are on match day 25 this coming weekend, and we have interesting games coming up. That's what I want to talk about. There's going to be Arsenal versus Sunderland. There's going to be Manchester City, of course, versus Liverpool at Anfield. There's going to be Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspurs. There's Chelsea versus there's going to be Chelsea versus Wolves as well. So, it's packed. It's packed, and it's going to be awesome. Right? So let us start, of course, with the log leaders. We need to respect the log leaders, right? And currently the log leaders with 53 points are Arsenal, right? Arsenal will be playing against Sunderland FC at the Emirates. It's going to be a very big game, this one. It's going to be a very big game, this one, because lest I remind you, if you have forgotten, they played away at the Stadium of Light, a game which Arsenal was winning 2-1, if I recall. And in the dying minutes of the game, Sunderland scored a goal. You saw how distraught Arsenal fans and the players were, because that was 3 points right in the bag, but they couldn't get them, right? And that obviously must have left a dent in their heart and in their minds, and they want to rectify that. Currently, they sit, of course, 6 points clear of Manchester City. And I know, Arsenal want to win as many games as they possibly can so that they can stretch, the lead that they have against this Manchester City side, and they have a chance here. They have a chance here. We just saw them play last week against Leeds, where they won 4-0, which was an amazing game, by the way. And against Sunderland, I fear they're going to do the same thing. And if by any, if my calculations are right, and Arsenal manages a win here, I think the league is done. Truly, I think the league is done. If they go 9 points clear, and Manchester City, of course, against Liverpool, we all know they have a bit of a problem playing at Anfield. They've won once in the last 20 years. If they lose Manchester City against Liverpool, then Arsenal are through. 9 points, that's gone. I know on any given day, a team can still come back from 9 points, but come on, we're talking about Arsenal here, a team that knows how to defend. That is their first strongest point, this Arsenal side. They know how to defend, and goals don't always come. Goals don't always come. You know what I mean? So if Arsenal manages a win against Sunderland, it's going to be difficult, lest I remind you guys. It's not like it's a walk in the park. What I know is that Arsenal are going to go for the blood. They're going to go for it because they need to. Now, it's not really about the fact that, you guys took 3 points from us on the first leg. It is that they need to, because there's a man behind who is coming for the league. You know what I mean? Who is coming for us? He's breathing down our neck, so we need to get the win. So they must get the win. They must get the win. So they're going to definitely win that. And I'm looking at possibly 3-1. 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. All right. And of course, the second fixture would be Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspurs. Gonna be a very hectic game, that one, I feel. United, lest I remind you guys, lost against Spurs 1-0, right, in the Europa League final, and I think they're still not past that. The second one is that obviously they wanted a revenge, so they went to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They wanted a win there just to forget as quickly as they can about the loss, the Europa League loss. They still couldn't. The game ended 2-2. So it looks like the revenge was prolonged. It was prolonged for this day. For this day that is coming, the 7th of February. Oh, wow. The 7th of February, 2026. That revenge was prolonged for that day. And if my feeling is not leading me astray and is telling me right, United are winning that game. United are going to win that game. We know how different they are right now under Carrick. He has played 3 games so far, and he has managed a win against Manchester City's Pep, against Arsenal's Arteta at Emirates. Do you know how difficult that is? Yes, I can forgive Manchester City for losing away at Old Trafford, but Arsenal losing at Old Trafford, they have made that a fortress. Not many teams can go to the Emirates and get a win. Not many teams can do that. You know, we only talk about teams such as United, you know, PSGs of this world. Those are the teams that go there and take points. So Carrick has managed that, you know, beating these two managers, the best managers, you know, in the past 5 years and more for Pep, of course. Carrick went there as an interim boss and took 3 points. He also did the same at Old Trafford against Fulham in the dying minutes of the game. So there's nothing really that suggests he may not win this game at Old Trafford under, you know, the theatre of dreams where, you know, all players want to see themselves. He's definitely going to get a win there. But also, you know, history suggests that this season under Thomas Frank, Spurs are not winning many games at home. They're managing wins more away. They're managing games more away. So they also have a shout. You know, they also have a shout in this fixture. And they may just get it. That is something that we will be watching very intently. And of course, that game is going to be very, 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 very interesting to of course, watch. You know, and there's also, of course, going to be Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. And, you know, I'm looking at Aston Villa, and I don't know whether come end of the season, they'll still be in the top 4. Because for whatever reason, it seems like the wheels are coming off. For whatever reason, a reason I just can't seem to understand. We've seen them lose back-to-back home games. Do you know how difficult, you know, Unai Emery and Aston Villa have made it difficult for many teams to go to the Villa Park and get a point there? Oh, they've made it really, really, really difficult. Almost impossible. And for the past 2 weeks, they have lost 2 home games. Something is wrong there. I just don't know what it is. But Aston Villa fans should be happy that they have a manager, you know, of the caliber of Unai Emery. He is the one that can be able to solve all these things. And what's even more sad is the fact that they're losing these 2 home games while they are in pole position to fight for the league. I mean, they were sitting 46 points along Manchester City, and they were 4 points behind Arsenal. They are, and it's Feb. It is February. You know, they have a chance to go for the league. And for whatever reason, the wheels start just coming off, which is something I don't understand. You know, this is going to be a very difficult game against Bournemouth. We know how difficult Bournemouth are. You know, we saw them beat Liverpool as well. So it's just not going to be easy. But if there's anything that is needed here is Aston Villa win, because if they don't win this game, then they just keep on going back. And before they know it, they will be, you know, they'll be trying to fight for the top 4 with 5 games to spare. And that is not what is needed. You just have to fight for the top 4 as quickly as you can. You know, don't leave it for later, because if you leave it for later, then you might just lose out in the last minutes. That's what happened for them last season. You know, that's why this season they're in the Europa League, because last season they fought for the top 4 while it was already too late. And when they lost that game, then they were definitely out. So, well, they have to win this game if they are to feature in the top 4 going forward. You know, there's also going to be, of course, Chelsea versus Wolves. That's a straight win for Chelsea. I mean, we saw them, you know, be eliminated by Arsenal at the Emirates, or for the League Cup. They should obviously look at this game against Wolves as a game to wipe their tears, you know. And they are, of course, currently sitting at 40 points, just behind Manchester United. So 30 points would get them 43, which will be, you know, it'll get them really comfortable. This isn't even up for discussion. It's not something that I'm not expecting Chelsea to win. They'll definitely win. You know, their chances of staying in the top 4 are growing by the day because of the fixtures that are coming their way. Wolves, I mean, this is a team that sits last in the league currently. So Chelsea definite win for that one. Then, of course, there is the game that we will all be looking forward to come this Sunday. For the mere fact that, of course, Liverpool are sitting 39 points. They want to also cement their place in the top 4. Then there's Manchester City too, who are, you know, 6 points behind Arsenal. So if Manchester City manages a win at Anfield, then they'll keep the distance 6 points. 6 points is not too bad, you know, with at least 14 games to go. Anything can just happen. So Pep just needs to find a way to win. And I feel like right now it's easy to play against Liverpool. They're not really themselves. Of course, Wirtz and Ekitike are running rings. You know, we saw them this past weekend against Newcastle, a game which looked difficult for Liverpool, right? A game which looked difficult for Liverpool. But in the end, Liverpool are 4-1 up. The game ends Liverpool as winners. You know, it's something that I didn't understand there, but it still happened because of how good these players are, especially the better they get. You know, we see how Wirtz, you know, is finally finding his stride, and so is Ekitike. There's also you know, a connection that is blooming there, and it's gonna be a problem for many teams. It's gonna be a problem for many teams, and it looks like a team that is going to have to go through that. You know, this Sunday is gonna be Manchester City. It's gonna be difficult, but it's doable still. I mean, they did it, you know, a few years back. They won at Anfield, which is something they have done in 20 years. You know, they can still do it again. You know, they can have 2 wins in 20 years, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be really difficult. And, you know, Liverpool just needs it too. So both these teams, they have something to fight for. City gunning for the league, Liverpool gunning for the top 4, because as for the league, out of the picture. No way Liverpool is winning the league this season. So the only thing they can do is to remain in the Champions League, because they remain in the Champions League, you know, the revenues will be there. The revenues will be there. Unfortunately, the season is gone and the league is gone. But what we can fight for is just to remain and make sure that we are included in the Champions League next season, you know. And yeah, that is all for today, or for this week, rather, for match day 25. This is definitely, you know, the fixtures that are a must-see. And you guys talk to me in the comment section. You know, write your own predictions of what you think is going to happen this coming week. Or already we're in the week, right? This week in the weekend, right? What you think the scores will be, and why. Why do you think Man City will beat Liverpool at Anfield? And why do you think Sunderland will beat Arsenal at the Emirates? You know, I want to hear your thoughts. And let's keep it going.